I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. Well, I'm about halfway through a project and decided I was going to turn the camera on. This pallet of boards is actually a section of fence. Tractor Supply had a fence that died to death. So they started taking it apart and leaning it against a light pole in the back lot. I saw it yesterday and decided I was going to go into town and pick it up and bring it home. So I thought, well, okay, I've got to take it apart and I'm going to have to get it down to a size that I can get in the back of the truck because it was 8 by 8 sections. Well, this piece was the front piece, and I was able to take the Sawzall with a wood blade and cut through the boards and get it narrowed down to fit in the back of the truck. I didn't have the impact driver with me. Didn't know I was going to need to take screws out. Prior planning prevents poor performance. But anyways, I had the Sawzall with me thinking that the Sawzall would do pretty much anything I wanted. I could cut the boards apart, and I had metal blades. I could cut it's got a pipe frame. I thought I could cut the pipe apart and make it into sections, load it in the back of the truck, be all done with it, clickety bang, home we go. Well, that sounded good, but the battery on the Sawzall died, but I had a spare battery. Wasn't very well charged. So I got enough cut off to get this thing into the back of the truck and brought it home. And I said, well, I could go back and get the rest, but it looks like rain outside and I don't want to be standing out in the rain trying to get this thing taken care of. So I said, okay, we're going to stop at this, and if I don't get all of it, somebody else gets some fence. Thing I'm looking at is I want to make some concrete forms. This stuff will be great for concrete forms. Doesn't cost me anything. It's a good size, and I can cut it up any way I want to because it's mine and it's free. So I want to make a base to set my air compressor on outside the shop. Now, why do I want it outside the shop? It's noisy. Air compressors are noisy. And I would just as soon have that thing clattering away in some other room away from me, at least separated by one wall. And wouldn't hurt anything to have some insulation on the walls. I'm going to build a little shed for it. It's going to go underneath the lean-to roof outside, but the lean-to roof is probably a year away. And I want to still have the compressor out here so I can use it. I've got a 100-foot hose that I can run from the garage, and that works, but then you've got a hose laying across the yard, and it's just a hassle. I've got power out here. I would like to have it out here. It's not noisy in the house then. I mean, it's out in the garage. It's not in the house, but still, when it goes off, you can hear it. So that's the plan. I've got most of the screws out on this thing. I'm going to have to manage a couple of them because some of them are Phillips heads. Phillips heads are prone to stripping. But no worries, vice grips. The problem with this one is it's a sheet metal screw. It's got a hex head. Rather than monkey with it, I'm just going to take a hammer and drive it out. They can try and give me a hard time, but they're usually not successful. Persistence wins nearly every time. This is kind of like somebody working on a car that has torque screws in one part and imperial in the other. Some of these are Torx, some of them are Phillips, some of them are hex head. They're just all over the place. Looks like the handyman at Tractor Supply was a man after my own heart. Use what you got. Keep things working. Just making sure I don't leave any screws in there. I'll leave a nasty hole in your hand, and then you can't do anything for a while. Which is upsetting. But not serious. Okay, gaining on this. Why anybody would bother inventing a self-drilling screw with a Phillips head is beyond me. Because all it does is make something that doesn't work well. Okay. Getting up around 80 degrees out here, and I can tell I'm a little bit sweaty. Okay, got screws off the floor. When you get old and your back starts going on you, you have to come up with inventive ways to get things where you can reach them. Crowbar works pretty good. Well, I had thoughts of mowing the yard, but I think those went the way of all flesh because other things came up. It's getting ready to rain. Now I'm storing parts for the crane by hanging them on the crane in these bags. But I'm going to use the crane for another purpose here for a little bit. I want to show you something that I picked up. I did a live broadcast a few minutes ago and I mentioned that I was at a garage sale. And at the garage sale, they had a great many tools. And one of them that I decided was well worth my time getting was this hoist, which I think I'm going to have to oil up a bit. Columbus McKinnon Corporation, CM. I just always called them CM. I never worried about who made it, the actual name. We use these at the foundry, call them come along. Yeah, this one's going to take some disassembly and cleaning. There's ratchets inside there that have to run free so that you can pull the chain out. And right now, this is locked up. But I have many years of practice working on them. We had them at the foundry, we had them at Borg Warner, we had them all over the place. The CM come-alongs are pretty much a standard. Everything at the foundry was half-ton. They were a little smaller. We used them to tug belts tight on conveyor belts and lift things up on the ladders and set motors and do all kinds of things. But we had lots of equipment. It was a big place. Covered 2 city blocks. And that was a big factory back in 1950. So, that's the come along. And I'll bring you in on the cleanup and disassembly. If you have any suggestions for new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. Thanks for watching.
This video is not to be viewed by anyone under the age of 13 in the U.S. or 16 in the European Union without the express written permission of the parents or the legal guardians of the underage person. Such written permission must be on file at the local government entity in charge of enforcing the rules and regulations established by the FTC. Anyone violating these terms is admitting by default that they hold harmless the owners and operators of this channel. Any and all questions should be addressed to your local branch of the FTC.